1945, the Pacific War between the Empire of Japan and the Allies of World War II had entered its fourth year. World War II was not winding down. Instead, the fighting was being prosecuted with ever-increasing fury. On July 26th, the Allied leaders issued an ultimatum, the Potsdam Declaration, outlining terms of surrender for Japan. The atomic bomb was not mentioned in the communique, and rumors of a superweapon were viewed by the Japanese as no more than a bluff. Meanwhile, at a top-secret location, scientists and military personnel were doing everything in their power to prove them wrong.
No, General, what I am telling you is that this superweapon of yours requires further testing. Atomic energy is not gunpowder, you know.
Oh, God, enough of your crowd double talk, Doctor. We didn't free you from that POW camp so you could whine about safety. We freed you so you could build us a better kaboom. I want my better kaboom, Doctor. So get that bomb ready to drop. Then we can end this war and you can study the aftermath all you want. I mean, God, what's the worst that could happen anyway?
Well, we can ignite the atmosphere and instantaneously suffocate all life on Earth.
Damn, you brainiacs sure do think big.
Fine. I'll prepare the device for detonation, but don't come crawling to me when something terrible happens.
Yeah, sauerkraut and Farfignugan. Here, Schnapps, and here, Schnitzel, scaredy kraut.
Fine.
And so, aboard the Enola Gay, our brave airmen fly straight into the middle of destiny, solemnly aware of their place in the glorious history of freedom.
So what do you think, Goldie? We get the plum mission or what? I mean, dropping the big one and we're the first.
You got that right, Major Kong. Those nips gonna plot till he dropped that big boy off another pool.
Easy with the hilarity, Airman. After you, this here's a solemn occasion.
How do you figure, Major?
Don't you see, Goldie? This is just another step for the U.S. and our continuing struggle for equality and freedom. I mean, where else but in these here United States could a heretical Jew boy like you fly side by side with a Christ-loving Gentile like me? All so we can just melt a bunch of godless yellow jacks back into a peaceful posture.
God bless America. Oh, hey, coming up on the target now. And 3, 2, 1, mark.
Boy!
That ought to show 'em what's what. Oh, hey, Major, what's that coming out of the blast site? Seems like it's, getting bigger.
Hell, it looks like a huge goddamn... Oh, hell no. Tell me you don't see that, Goldie.
Oh, fuck!
And as fate would have it, several innocent Japanese fishermen have the great misfortune to unwittingly encounter this new holy terror.
What was that? Oh, no. It sounded much like a large nuclear irradiated lizard.
Later, back on shore at command headquarters, a strange and cryptic SOS message is received by an anxious and unsuspecting general.
General, emergency message intercepted by our patrols.
Well, don't stand there, read it out.
Ah!
Well, shit, that doesn't sound good. Anything else?
Just a garbled message about our nuclear bomb causing a lizard to grow very large and wreak havoc and mayhem.
Giant lizard?
Yes. They're calling it Godzilla.
Pretty cool name.
Apparently there's a local legend about a dragon god that accepts sacrifices of virgins in order to appease its wrath from raining down upon the land.
Well, if we can confirm this monster business, it ain't gonna be nothing compared to the shino that's gonna rain down on me once the president finds out about this.
Well, shouldn't we try the virgins thing? I mean, just to be safe?
To sacrifice?
Well, yeah, in a manner of speaking, I mean...
Just get the president on the line. Wait, no, get the president.
Later on the phone with the president, the general tries in vain to minimize the gravity of their current dilemma.
Yes, sir, a giant nuclear-powered lizard. The locals are calling it Godzilla. Cool name, huh? I'm sorry, sir. Well, it stands 30 stories tall. Seems pretty pissed off as near as I can tell, sir. Well, of course, we sent out 3 of our crack artillery divisions to engage and contain the monster. Report? Yes, sir. It seems it proceeded to liquefy them down into molten scrap with this nuclear-powered breath ray. Melt? No, sir. The people just sort of instantaneously vaporized. No, sir. This is not the most ideal situation. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I mean, yes, sir. Well, we could drop another bomb on it, sir, but quite frankly, that's what turned it into a giant nuclear-powered lizard in the first place, so yes, sir, this is a colossal fuck-up, but I feel like it might be unfair to malign the whole program because of one unforeseen little problem. Yes, sir, I like my job. Yes, sir, I'll straighten it out right away. Well, Dr. Weisenheimer, if that is in fact your real name, you better figure a way out of this shit, or we're gonna head to the stockade.
Oh, you know, I warned you. There might be unforeseen circumstances.
Why there might be unforeseen circumstances? That's you. That's what you sound
very
like.
much shocking. Weisenheimer. What? Where is it heading? Yeah. Ha! Yeah, that could work. All right, General.
Well?
Fortune, it seems, has favored us. Now, Godzilla has been seen heading towards Nagasaki, and while I am certain that we cannot destroy the beast, if we have enough firepower, we might be able to open up the fault line and send the creature down into the magma below.
Sounds great.
It sounds great. How long before your men are ready?
Right now, let's get those bombs in the air.
We don't have a moment to lose.
No!
And so, as Godzilla approaches the fault line, a comparatively tiny plane flies toward him and drops 2 bombs. There is an explosion, and Godzilla disappears under the mantle for what all hope is the distant future. San Francisco, California, 1989, otherwise known as the distant future. This is a KTVU breaking news special report.
Good evening. If you are just tuning in, here are the facts as we know them. An earthquake registering 7.2 on the Richter scale hit the Bay Area, knocking out power and communications to several parts of the area. Those are the facts as we know them. So until we can confirm any casualties or damages, which we know everybody's anxious to hear about, we're just going to continue repeating the same vague and unsubstantiated news we've been bringing for the past several hours. And now we're going to go live to our own Bobby Kasnick, who's standing by live in front of something broken.
I'm here in Treasure Island, where the day started off with a simple story of a big picnic being held here. That is until the earth quaked and cast upon the festivities. Obviously, some panic is going on here as news reports are coming around. But in fact, I hear some screaming from the other side. Take my man out! Oh my God!
Sounds exciting, Bob. Bob? Well, apparently we lost Bob's speed, but we'll get back to him as soon as we figure out what's going on. Meanwhile, here's a story with our own Jane Wallace, who has a story about a hot dog wrapped in bacon. Jane?
And just off the coast of Treasure Island, a small fishing boat man with an anachronous band of old sea salts out on a routine fishing run draws closer to a terrible fate.
We hoisted up the mast and that's just so. The swallows on the poop, they say yo-ho! I live my life on a salty sea. The pirate's life is a life for me. With a parrot on my shoulder and a peg leg hanging off my knee. Sure, I don't know. Look out!
News of the sudden disappearance of the trawler reaches the senior operations officer of the fishing company, young Mr. Hyman Ogie. The news will come at a most inopportune time.
Emily, have you seen my shirt?
Yes, right here.
Oh, what's this? A new shirt?
It's our 5-month anniversary today.
I hadn't forgotten.
Really?
Of course not. I just don't think you deserve a present is all. I want to look good to impress your grandfather. We have to convince him to break off your engagement with Sertz so we can be married. Frankly, I think you should have taken care of this a long time ago. I don't like to sneak around.
I know, but you know how fond Grandfather is of Dr. Sertz. It was he who encouraged us to get engaged. I was so young and he was so grown up. And Grandfather kept on saying how he was an important man of science and how I'd be lucky to be his wife one day. Instead of ending up with a fishmonger.
What? I'm more than just a fishmonger. I have a name. And I have dreams, too. Besides, it's 1989. Nobody uses the word fishmonger anymore. Bay Area fishmongers, I know. What's that? I see. I'll be right down. Emily, I'm sorry. I have to go.
What is it? An accident?
An SOS from one of our ships. I have to go to the Coast Guard office right away.
No. But tonight was our best chance to tell Grandfather that I no longer wanted to marry Dr. Sertz. I thought in the presence of his favorite musician it would be easier to break the news that we are to be married instead.
I'm sorry I can't go see Huey Lewis in the news. But if you hurry, you can still make it.
It's disappointing, but work is work, and bad is sometimes, well, bad.
It'll be all right. You should go now.
Later at the Coast Guard office, as the chairman of Bay Area Fishmongers arrives, there are many questions, but few answers.
Mr. Chairman, San Francisco Chronicle, can you make a statement about the missing boat?
Please, Hodge. I know about as much as you, and I'm gonna get some answers.
All right, but I will stay here despite being uninvited.
All right, gentlemen. Thank you for your efforts. What could have caused this?
We don't know. We received an SOS, and then suddenly communication went dead.
Well, what do we do now?
Well, one of our boats, the Fisher King, is approaching the area. We'll know something soon.
What's that? Both ships are incommunicado now. Cause unknown.
Unknown? How can that be?
Well, what about that garbled message about a sea monster?
Oh, those drunken old pirates are probably drinking rum and singing sea shanties.
Wait. You don't know if there are any survivors?
Well, we won't know anything for sure until morning.
After the earthquake, resources are stretched thin. I'm going to send a helicopter and 2 ships there now, but we'll just have to wait.
Why not send more ships? 2 aren't enough.
Well, rest assured, we will devote all our efforts to ensure this, sir.
Y'all know me. You know how I earn a living. If there's some kind of monster out there, I'll catch it for you. It ain't gonna be easy. Not like going down to the pond and catching bluegills. No, we gotta move now. It'll be my neck that's sticking out. Now, I'll find it for you, guaranteed. For $3 grand. But it'll cost you 10 to make it go away for good. So you all gotta ask yourselves a question. You gotta ante up and stay alive? Play it cheap. And also, I might need some virgins.
Thank you, Mr. Quinn. When can you start?
Right now!
Well, on the bright side, we finally got rid of Quint.
Fucking asshole like that was.
It's urgent that I call the bank and stop payment on his check.
Oh, smart. His wife.
Yes, hello? Yes. Give me headquarters. Well, it's a big building where they make decisions. Yes, that's not important right now. Yes. Yes, apparently the old fisherman sank as well. Yes, that's 3 now. All in the same location. Apparently a section of the Bay Bridge is out.
The Bay Bridge? What are we gonna do?
I wouldn't worry. I'm sure they'll build a replacement in no time.
And now, wait.
Meanwhile, a man washes up on shore to an incongruous group of Aboriginal Treasure Islanders. It turns out to be someone they know.
What's going on out there? Yeah, it must be something serious.
Look, something's floating in.
Oh, everybody around. Come in here.
Raft's coming in.
No, you go get a blanket. You get a first aid kit. You start a fire. You wear something sexier. And you get me a seltzer. A seltzer. Yes. Oh.
Mondo! That's my babysitter! Mondo! Mondo!
Monza, what did this to you?
Godzilla!
A hasty town hall style meeting is called to investigate reports from the Treasure Island natives and devise a course of action.
Mr. Brennan! You report 17 houses destroyed and 9 people dead?
And what about livestock? Could you itemize those losses?
Oh, I forgot about that. Let's see, there was 12 cows and 8 pigs. Yes,
Now, Mr. Brennan?
Yes. Oh, no, please, call me Pops. Everybody calls me Pops.
Okay, Pops. All right. Now, you claim that this wasn't earthquake related, but rather the same thing that sank those fishing boats.
Yes.
Now, how can that be?
Yes, I know, it seems to defy all logic. But the way that the houses and docks were crushed could not have been earthquake related. It suggests that it came from above.
That's preposterous!
It's true. Although it was dark and hard to see, whatever attacked our neighborhood was definitely alive and definitely here.
Wow.
Sad little girl.
Well, at least we asked Dr. Weisenheimer from the university to weigh in on this.
Thank you, Professor, for coming on such short notice.
It's no problem, although I'm a little bit embarrassed to be testifying before I've had a chance to investigate the disaster scene personally. Although I've taken the liberty of looking at the photographs of this giant, cold-blooded, aquatic Sasquatch that you found. I can understand why the natives are confused and why the whole thing is a mystery. I recommend that we immediately form an emergency research team to investigate the matter.
So ordered. Just let us know what you need.
And so on to Treasure Island, where we join the science team, now accompanied by fellow university scientist Professor Obvious and investigative reporter Mr. Hodge, where the destruction is documented and recorded with various science devices.
Alvin Hodge, roving reporter on assignment with noted real scientist Professor Weisenheimer. He has come here investigating conflicting reports about some kind of event that occurred in the area. Whatever happened here, the frightened residents are insane. But it must be serious, as they are now testing the local water supply.
The Geiger counter is clicking, signifying radiation.
Thank you, Professor Obvious. Do not use this bell. It is dangerous.
I need to douche. Professor, if there was radioactive fallout, wouldn't all the wells on the whole island be affected as well?
That's right. So why are we only looking at radiation here? It doesn't make sense.
Mr. Hodge, if I were to tell you that this was a footprint of a giant creature, would you believe me?
Really, Professor? Are you serious?
No. I'm just joking with you. How funny. Let's continue. Oh, shine. Leck mich mein Arsch. This whole footprint is radioactive.
Please stay back, folks. Let's clear this area. Radioactivity is dangerous and should be monitored by professional adults.
Yeah, watch this. Ah! Look! Oh, look at it! Isn't it wonderful? It's a trilobite. It's a trilobed marine arthropod. It's long thought extinct. I have never seen one this big before.
Oh, grandfather, it looks so slimy for something so wonderful.
Professor, you really shouldn't handle that with bare hands. It might be dangerous.
Oh, you're right, yeah.
Professor, what is that thing?
It's an amazing discovery.
Grandfather!
What is it?
I saw it! A creature! Straight out of the Jurassic era!
Where?
I saved you.
Oh, Ogie.
Emily! What the hell? And you, Mr. Ogie!
Well, I was checking for radiation or tonsils.
I fell
and
in
suck some poison.
There was a cat in a tree and then it fell.
And you know, why am I not surprised to find you here with my granddaughter? You seem to be spending an awful lot of time with my granddaughter, even though she is the fiancée of a protege of mine.
This conversation is delaying our frantic attempts to flee.
We'll discuss this later.
Narrowly escaping Godzilla's wrath, Professor Weisenheimer and Mr. Odie issued another meeting at the Fish Company headquarters to share their findings with the chairman and now very concerned with local residents.
Please, people!
Order, please! Weisenheimer, please continue.
It is my recommendation that we call this creature what the natives from its country of origin have called it, Godzilla. We encountered Godzilla.
I'm sorry.
We encountered the creature on Treasure Island. This is a photograph of its head. And this, it's a photograph with me and Huey Lewis. And this is a photograph of its tail. We can estimate from these photographs that it is over 165 feet long. Now, what this creature is doing in our territorial waters is another matter. It's my sad duty to report to you that this is not my first encounter with the creature. Back in 1945, when they dropped the atom bomb on Hiroshima, the fallout mutated a small lizard into this hulking creature. It was all that they could do to drop a second bomb on Nagasaki to open up the Earth's crust and send the creature into the magma below. Or so we had thought. I mean, volcanology is not an exact science, you know.
This is horrible!
Indeed!
The physical evidence concludes this. It proves it. Godzilla has been floating under the earth in the magma under the tectonic plates, and this recent earthquake on the other side of Earth's ring of fire has released it back up into the surface. What?
Hey, everybody, come on, let's just slow down here for a second. I mean, come on, Professor. Do we really believe that H-bomb radiation is responsible for this?
Geiger counter readings of the sand indicate the presence of strontium-90. Now they just...
Well, I'm still skeptical.
Oh, really? Order, please! Look!
I mean, strong young 90? I mean, that sounds like silly science talk to me, right? I mean, hey, everybody, what about sacrificing virgins?
Oh, no! We are not sacrificing any more virgins! Look! I am telling you that this has been detected in the sound strontium-90. Radiation of this type is only discovered around H-bomb radiation. H-bomb radiation!
Order, please! Given the grave repercussions of Weisenheimer's report, we mustn't rush to make this public.
But this is a public hearing.
That's exactly why it must be made public.
That's right!
What I mean is, if this Godzilla thing is the result of H-bomb tests.
It is! That's exactly what it is!
No, it can't be. Everybody knows that H-bomb radiation is harmless once the dust settles.
Yeah, especially if you keep your mouth closed.
That's why this is so serious. If we announce this too rashly, the public will panic. Our economy will be plunged into chaos.
You fool! What are you saying?
Shut up!
GTVU Special Report.
With nearly 20 ships sunk so far, Godzilla, monster of the century, has all of San Francisco and the lesser cities in a panic. The frigate squadron has begun its depth charge attack. A 10-vessel fleet left port at 10 a.m., headed for the west coast of Treasure Island. At 10:17, they received orders to commence attack.
It's Godzilla! No, everybody remain calm! Well, what's left of the Navy will take care of that giant gecko!
In response to the sudden carnage, hasty triage centers are set up to handle the steady influx of casualties.
We're really at a loss here. There you are. We're really at a loss here. If this continues, we'll have to shut down our international shipping lanes. Do you have any ideas? Any hint would help.
Indeed.
Weisenheimer, I'll be blunt. We want to know if there's a way to kill Godzilla.
Kill Godzilla? Impossible! He was born in the contemplation of the atom bomb and suckled at science's radioactive teat. What can we possibly do to harm it? Our priority here should be to study it, to study its powers of survival, of adaptability. We may need such abilities for ourselves soon, and sooner than you think.
Wow. It looks worse than it feels.
Meanwhile, in the offices of the editor of that great metropolitan newspaper, the San Francisco Chronicle, roving reporter Mr. Hodge and his fellow ace reporters grapple with the implications of Godzilla's sudden appearance and the impending reign of terror.
Hot off the press. Apparently Weisenheimer makes lots of important points that people actually pay attention to, despite his thick German accent. He says it's ridiculous to quake in fear. Apparently we should be studying Godzilla.
Yes, but at what cost?
That's right. It's a difficult question to ask.
Yes, perhaps too difficult to even discuss.
We're discussing it now, actually.
Yes, and it's all I can do to keep from hiding under my desk and screaming like a little monkey.
Oh,
Well, but enough of that now, Hodge. Go interview this guy on the double.
Dr. Darius Sertz,
Yes, Weisenheimer's grandson-in-law.
his granddaughter's fiancé. Haven't they been engaged for a long time now?
That's right, Sertz has been a bit of a recluse since the war. When he lost his eye!
I'm sure grandfather will understand.
We have nothing to be ashamed of. But when I think of Sertz, I lose my nerve. If not for the war, he wouldn't have lost his eye.
I know. I feel badly too. I've always thought of Darius, of Dr. Sertz, as a sort of older brother ever since I was a child. I still feel the same way today. I don't understand him like I do you. But we got engaged when I was so young, when he was finishing his post-grad work as a research assistant for my grandfather, before he went to the war and lost his eye. It was all grandfather's doing. All those weekends we spent in his lab were instrumental in bringing us together.
We'll work it out, Emily. I promise.
Mr. Hodge?
Hello there! Pardon the intrusion.
What is it?
Well, I tried to get in to speak with Dr. Sertz and he politely refused. I was hoping maybe you could introduce us. And explain later. It's really very urgent. I'd be very much obliged.
Well, this is perfect timing. I can go with you and explain things to Sertz personally.
I suppose, but I think it would be better if he heard it from me. It'll be easier on him.
Yes. I suppose you're right. You go.
I'll try and break it to him gently.
Thank you. We better go. There's a car waiting.
And so they sailed to Alcatraz, where in a top-secret laboratory, Dr. Sertz works on a secret science project, which is shrouded in secrecy.
Hello, Emily.
Hello. I brought this reporter with me whom you refused to talk to. I hope you don't mind.
Look, the thing is, our correspondent in Switzerland heard it from an Italian scientist that when the thing you're working on is finished, it'll be a major breakthrough in defeating Godzilla.
There must be some mistake. That is not what my research is about at all.
Oh, I see. Well, what are you working on right now, then?
It is not worth discussing.
Well, forgive me for disturbing you, then. But, I mean, it did take like 30 minutes to get here, 2 ferries and a camel, so...
I'm sorry. I could not have been more help.
I'm gonna stay a while.
I hope to at least get something out of him.
He can be moody. But you've broken the ice. Next time bring ho-hos.
Ho-hos, yeah. Yeah, next time I'll try that. Thank you. Goodbye.
Thank you for coming. So, just what is it you've been working on these days? Grandfather's been wondering too. What's Sertz up to these days?
Emily, shall I show it to you?
Here? Okay, sure.
But you mustn't tell a soul. I'm risking my very life on this project.
Project? Oh, yeah, whatever. I won't tell a soul.
Do you swear to keep it a secret?
Whatever.
Follow me. Stay back!
I'm sorry. It's just whenever I get frightened, I need to kiss you.
I know. That's partially why I showed it to you. Emily, wait! You are the only person I would ever show this to you. Please, don't forget that.
I won't. I'll keep it a secret.
Good evening. You've had a long day. Did something happen?
No. Nothing at all. I didn't get a chance to tell Certs about us.
I can't take this anymore, Emily. I'm going to ask for your grandfather's blessing today. All right?
Grandfather, what's wrong?
All they can think about is to kill Godzilla. How can he be so blind? Why don't they try to study him? My God, the things you can learn about him, his resistance to radiation, is in a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. How can they be so blind? Science, damn it!
Professor, I disagree.
Mr. Hawkey, I am not saying these words on some type of a whim. No scientist in the world has ever seen anything like Godzilla. He is a priceless specimen, only found in San Francisco.
I'm sure someone else found him first. Just ask the hipsters. But Professor, that's no reason to let such a violent monster run loose. Godzilla is no different from the H-bomb. Are you so blind that you can't see what it is? Oh, and Emily and I would like to break off her engagement so we can be married.
So you want to get it too? Get out! Get out of my house! House! House!
I'm sorry.
No, I could have been a little more tactful.
Yes, you could have.
This is a special news bulletin. Godzilla continues to advance toward the San Francisco coast. The security barrier is charged with high voltage electricity. PG&E asks that you do not run your air conditioners at this time. This has been
We're gonna be with Daddy soon. We're gonna join Daddy.
This is absolutely unbelievable, but it's unfolding right before my very eyes. Godzilla's got all of San Francisco in flames. The Presidio, Nob Hill, the Tenderloin, the Castro, all flaming. Godzilla appears to be on the move. He's heading towards the Embarcadero. For those of you listening at home, this is no play or movie. This is real, the story of a century. We're coming to you live via shortwave transmitter. Godzilla seems to be heading towards our tower. There's no time to run. Will we get away? He's headed right for us. Oh my goodness, here he comes. There's no way to escape. He's got the tower in his hands. Farewell, ladies and gentlemen. This really is
I'll be back. What do we do? Damn it! How do we kill the bastards?
These people are all injured. They will all need medical attention.
Yes, they will.
Godzilla seems to have retreated to the sea for now. A research team headed by Weisenheimer has been formed to find the countermeasures. Those are the top stories at this hour. I mean, aside from the other obvious things.
Mr. Hoagie of the area fishmonger, the patrol boat's departure time is finishing. Please report to the briefing room.
It's all right. Your mother will be back very soon.
No, she won't. She's dead.
We're lying to her to keep her from getting hysterical.
That makes sense.
Okie, there's something important I have to tell you. I can't keep quiet any longer. I can break my promise now with a clean conscience.
Your promise?
Yes. I made a promise to Certs.
Certs?
Certs.
Certs.
Dr. Certs.
Certs. Certs. Yeah, that's why me and creepy Grandpa Weisenstuper need to have a sit-down ASAP.
I kept it secret even from you, but now I have to break that promise. It was the day Mr. Hodge and I went to see him. That's when it happened.
Stay back!
I definitely shouldn't kiss you right now, because I'm telling this story to my fiance. Did you?
That's right. I destroyed all of the oxygen in the tank.
With what?
With my oxygen destroyer! The goldfish in the tank spontaneously suffocated, and then their remains were then liquefied by my oxygen destroyer!
How does it destroy oxygen?
It splits oxygen atoms into fluid.
My.
I intended on researching oxygen thoroughly and from every angle, and in doing so discovered an unexpected form of power. After my first initial experiments, I was so filled with horror at the power it unleashed that I could not eat for days. Not even ho-hos. Just one small ball of this substance could turn the entire San Francisco Bay Area into an aquatic graveyard.
I understand. I'll keep it a secret.
Emily,
If I have to.
my research is strictly in the interest of science.
I'll still keep it a secret, but I mean, why would you develop such a device?
That's right. If used as a weapon, it could lead humanity to extinction, much like the H-bomb. But I'm determined to figure out a way to use my oxygen destroyer that will benefit mankind. Until then, I refuse to unveil its existence to humanity. Until then, I'm willing to extend my life and destroy my work rather than let the wrong hands fall upon my oxygen destroyer!
I understand. I'll keep it a secret. Even from Grandfather.
Grandfather.
And now I've broken that promise.
Yeah, you have. But Emily, you did it to save us from utter disaster. I'm sure Certs will forgive you. He has to. Even in his own way. He must still love you. Remind me to never tell you a secret.
Welcome, Emily.
Certs?
What's this? You're here to...
Yes, I have a big favor to ask.
Please, have a seat. What kind of favor?
Well, I want to use your oxygen destroyer.
Oxygen destroyer? I have no idea what you're talking about.
Certs, why keep up this pretense?
Pretense?
Darius, I'm sorry. I told him everything. But you have to let him use your device. Please forgive me. I'm sorry. You have to.
Emily couldn't bear the sight of all that utter destruction. You have to forgive her.
Mr. Ogie, if Emily told you my secret, then you must understand why I cannot allow you to use it. I refuse!
But Certs!
No!
Even to battle Godzilla?
No, I tell you!
But I brought ho-hos.
Please leave now!
Certs! Open the door! Certs! Come on, what are you doing in there?
Come on, Darius. You have to let him use it. Please.
Open the door, Certs. Come on.
Leave me alone!
What are you doing?
Let's go!
It would destroy years of research!
Stop it! Stop it, please!
Mr. Ogie! Please, Mr. Ogie, please forgive me. But if I could figure out a way to use my oxygen destroyer that would benefit mankind, I'd be the first to unveil it to the world. But right now, it's nothing more than a weapon of mass destruction. Please understand.
I do understand. But what do you do about Godzilla? And the horror before us? I mean...
Mr. Ogie, even if the oxygen destroyer is used even once, the politicians of the world will not stand idly by. They will inevitably make it into a weapon of mass destruction. A-bombs against A-bombs, H-bombs against H-bombs. As a scientist, no as a human being, no as a scientist, adding another terrifying weapon to humanity's arsenal is something I cannot allow.
But then what do we do about the horror before us right now? Just let it happen?
Only you can prevent this horrible tragedy.
Even if you use it to battle Godzilla, how could it be used as a weapon if you don't publish your research?
Mr. Ogie, even if I burnt my notes, everything is still in my head. As long as I'm still alive, who could say I could not be coerced into using it again? Oh, if only I'd never invented it.
Peace, all right, hasten back to us. That's the prayer for peace being offered up nationwide today. We're broadcasting one such scene from San Francisco. Listen to these young girls as they sing from their hearts.
We do not wish to be melted by Godzilla's nuclear breath. This we pray. We would not like being crushed under his huge feet, or squashed by his massive tail. Oh peace, oh light, hasten back to us.
Mr. Ogie,
Certs,
you two win. But please understand that this is the first and the last time my oxygen destroyer will ever be used again. It's okay, Emily. But please understand, this is the only way. This is the only way to make sure it will never fall into the wrong hands.
The scene is cautiously joyous, and all of San Francisco comes down to the Embarcadero to wish Dr. Darius Certs the best of luck with his new device, the Oxygen Destroyer, which all hope will vanquish the dread Godzilla.
The decisive moment draws near. We'll soon know whether this monster terrorizing the world will be forever buried in the ocean's depths. A Geiger counter is being set up now to pinpoint Godzilla's location.
I am making notes.
Mr. Ogie, please bring me a diving suit.
What? You have no diving experience.
Professor, I must agree. Please don't be foolish. You're a scientist, not a fishmonger.
What? That is not a polite term anymore.
Professor, this is the only oxygen destroyer that I have. For it to be fully effective, it must be released underwater. It seems today that I am no better than Mr. Ogie.
Right. Then we go down together.
No! I can do it alone.
What? You're crazy. You have no diving experience. I'm not letting you down there alone. Fetch another diving suit, please.
Yes, sir.
We'll go, but you're to follow my instructions. Understand?
The world's only oxygen destroyer.
Clearly going to protect us from the depths here.
How much power does this test?
I'm winning.
He's winning.
His inventor, Dr. Sertz, refuses to say.
Check out this airtight seal.
All we can do now is pray.
Professor, I never dreamed my discovery would be unveiled like this.
I'll be praying for both of you.
You two, be careful down there. Mr. Ogie, I'm counting on you. It's Godzilla! It's Godzilla! Stop on spooling! Stop on spooling! Stop on spooling!
You have to stop. My hymen is bleeding.
No! I don't care what your bloody hymen says. I can do it alone. Only I know how to adjust the machine. It should be me.
I must agree. Good luck, Dr. Sertz.
The battle begins. Dr. Sertz is slowly being lowered into the water.
Blah, 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 blah.
He's reached bottom!
Blah, 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 blah.
Oi! He's reached bottom!
Blah, 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 blah.
I've started the accelerator and all the dials read nominal. It's working. Emily, I want you to know I understand what happened between us. I hope you and Ogie will be happy. Farewell.
Sertz, bring him up! Sertz!
He's cut his line!
With his line cut, we won't be able to pull him back up. He has decided to sacrifice himself.
Really?
No! Sertz!
With his dying breath, he wished. As I was saying, with his dying breath, he wished us happiness.
What emotion! What joy! Victory at last! I saw Godzilla's lifeless corpse sink into the sea with my own eyes. This victory belongs to brave Dr. Sertz, scientist of the century.
Farewell, Darius. I will think of you often during sex.
So will I.
Well, Godzilla has finally been vanquished. But if nuclear testing continues, then someday, somewhere in the world, another Godzilla may appear. This is called a moral.
Present arms! We're arms!